Hello, YouTube community. So today we are going to be talking about protecting ourselves in relationships. So how can you tell that you are protecting yourself in a relationship, in relationships in your life? And then also, I'm going to give you 3 tips on how you can begin to let people in slowly and safely. So something that I want to highlight and just remind you of before we start is that if you find that you are someone who protects yourself in all relationships, that's kind of like your go to default response. Just holding space and compassion for yourself and remembering that there is a reason why you have developed this response in your relationships. This is usually a survival response. So, remembering that we are human beings are wired for safety. So our nervous system is always scanning for either safety or danger. And the way that we are wired is we are actually wired to pick up and scan for danger more so than safety. Okay, so just remembering that. So, and our nervous system can't tell the difference between the kind of danger that is like an actual physical threat or danger, being chased by a wild animal, or the kind of danger that our nervous system feels when we don't feel safe to communicate our needs to our partner. Like in our nervous system, the danger feels the same. So, with that being said, if your system's always scanning for danger, and if your system can't tell that difference, then you not being able to express your needs with people in your life and you protecting yourself in relationships, this is actually a survival response um, put forth by your nervous system. So you know, it's not that you are damaged. It's not that you don't know how to do relationships. It's that at some point in your life, you were shown that this was not safe. And so now you're doing the thing that is protecting you, is keeping you safe. So just a reminder to hold yourself compassionately when you think about that, that there's no kind of defect inside of you. It's actually you, um biologically, you and your nervous system in your body doing the thing that you have been designed to do. So moving on with that, the way that there are a number of cues that will tell us whether we are self-protecting in relationships, but I'm just going to talk about 3 common ones today. So cue number 1 would be if you have difficulty expressing your needs in relationships. If you generally don't express your needs, you kind of just go with the flow of whatever is happening in the relationship, in the interaction with the other person. And if you have a hard time having difficult conversations. Okay. So that number 1, if either of those 2 things are hard for you, then it's probably indicating that you are protecting yourself in relationships because expressing your needs or having hard conversations, there's more potential for you to be let down there, right? And so some point in your life in the past, you doing either of those 2 things, expressing physical needs, expressing, let's say you're a baby and you're crying and nobody came when you were crying to comfort you, then you are going to learn that, eventually you're going to be programmed that there's no point of crying because nobody will come. And so then that will translate as an adult to there's no point of me voicing how I feel because nobody will come, right? There won't be that support. So I'm just going to kind of maintain a very stoic um, approach to things. And, the same thing with difficulty having hard conversations, right? When something in a relationship has upset you or hurt you, if you did not receive a comforting and nurturing response in the past, then, you've learned that that kind of expression is not safe. So you're actually just gonna either what's safe is either going along with what the other person says, because that's going to keep you liked, and keeping you liked keeps you within, you know, within the, maybe in the past, within the family unit, right? Within the community, right? Humans are, we're pack animals basically, right? We are animals. We feel safest in packs. So if I don't express things that will upset people, then I don't risk being cut off from the pack, from the community, right? So again, it's a survival approach. So that's number one, a little bit of a long-winded number one. Number two is when you know that you're self-protecting in relationships, when you emotionally distance yourself from, it can be your romantic partner, it can be friends, it could be family. If you don't allow yourself to, express emotion or just get close emotionally, like even if it's like a physical expression of emotion, like a hug or a kiss, whether it's allowing yourself to cry in front of people, just allowing yourself to express emotionally. If you kind of distance yourself um, from those around you, then this would be an indication of, that you're protecting yourself. And oftentimes, again, this comes from us not being able to express emotions from a very early age, that those emotions weren't received positively. And so now you kind of, oftentimes it's not just you distancing yourself emotionally from people in your life, but it can also be distancing yourself from yourself emotionally. So you actually kind of numb yourself from your emotions because you've been taught that expressing them is not favorable, expressing them is not safe. So then the next step is, well, why would I even want to feel them if I can't express them, right? I'm just going to shut that part off for me. And so again, the person that kind of like appears, just kind of like cool, calm, collected, detached, like not really affected by very much at all, but it might actually be because you don't even allow yourself to feel certain emotions at all. And so it's very hard to then express them to other people or allow other people to even see them. So that's number two, emotional distancing. And number three is having trouble trusting others and trusting their intentions. So again, going back to that like old survival mechanism of scanning for danger, right? So not trusting that people have good intentions, it's a way of protecting yourself and keeping yourself safe. Because if I'm always on the lookout for people possibly, people having poor intentions towards me, them wanting to hurt me in whatever way, if I'm always like very vigilant and um having that negative expectation, then it's protecting me from getting hurt because I've already expected it. And so when it comes, I'm already prepared for it in a way, right? But then that doesn't, all of these things, these three ways that we're protecting ourselves, the challenge with them is that then it doesn't allow us to actually build trust in relationships, because if I don't trust you, then how can I build a relationship with you? And then how can we have reciprocal trust, right? You're going to have a hard time trusting me when you start to sense that I don't trust you. So if you're not able to trust somebody, then having that reciprocal trust becomes really hard. If you're not able to express emotions to people, then it's really hard to build that intimacy and that deeper level of connection. If you aren't able to express your needs, then people don't know what you need in relationship, right? So they can never actually fulfill your needs. So it starts to become a little bit of a loop that you can't get out of. And so the very things that we do to protect ourselves end up being the things that prevent us from having the deep, supportive relationships that we crave. So, ways that we can start to let down those walls slowly and safely, because remember, we don't want to do too much at once, because again, there's a reason why you have put up those walls to begin with, and we want to honor that. But we also want to start to give our nervous system cues that it can release that grip a little bit and, start to feel a little bit more safe in human interactions. So the first way is really actually building trust with yourself. So when you have trust in yourself that no matter what happens in the external world, that you've got yourself, that you are your, at the end of the day, number one supporter, number one place that you can come home to when something has gone in a way that you weren't expecting, then you know that even if somebody lets you down, that you can handle it, because you've got your own back. And so that trust for yourself is actually the first thing that allows you to then go outwards and build healthy relationships. Because if you don't feel like you can trust yourself in relationships, or you can trust yourself to carry you in the way that's needed if something goes wrong, then you're going to try to just avoid any kind of, negative outcome at all costs, because you don't even trust your own reaction and that you've got your own back. So that's number one. And that's going to take time, but allow yourself to start building that trust within. Number two is starting slow. So, you're not going to go jump right off the deep end in terms of the things that you disclose to people, how vulnerable you get with people if this is something that doesn't feel comfortable, but just start slowly. Start with small disclosures, start with small shares that maybe don't feel extremely vulnerable, and then start to build, the level of vulnerability that you're able to have with people. And this allows you to also kind of monitor how you feel as you are sharing. And it allows you to start to kind of co-regulate more with other people. So you start to see, oh, I shared, what was their reaction? What about their reaction made me feel safe? What didn't? And you start to kind of build consistency, right, within relationships, that, the people that made you feel more safe when you shared, you can start to share a little bit more with them because that trust is building. But just starting slow so that you don't go past a point that feels like too much for you in the beginning. And then the third thing would be really paying attention to your body's cues as you're sharing. So our body always lets us know when we feel safe and when we feel that we're in danger, when it feels that we're in danger, that we're always going to get our first cues from the body before the mind even catches up. So pay attention to how you feel as you're sharing certain things. If there's just a slight level of discomfort, that's okay. Because remember, it's like building a muscle. We kind of want to have a little bit of discomfort when we're sharing, because we're pushing our edge a little bit, but it doesn't want to feel like we're overwhelmed all of a sudden with, anxiety or fear. It feels like too much. So paying attention to your body is the best way to notice that. And also around different people, right? To kind of know which people stimulate that ventral vagal nervous system state, which is like the calm, secure state, and then which ones might stimulate more of like a fight or flight response, right? And that's where we know those are not our people to share more vulnerable things with, or maybe even spend time with at all, right? For the time being, while we're working on ourselves. So those are the three things. So building trust within yourself, starting slow, small shares, small disclosures as you're building safety. And then the third one, paying attention to your body and cues that your body is giving you when you are sharing and practicing small acts of vulnerability with people. So I hope this helped you today. If it did, please don't hesitate to hit the like button down below. Please don't hesitate to share and subscribe. If there's somebody else that you want to share this video with, please don't hesitate to do that. And if you would like more content like this, you can also comment below what you really found valuable from this video, what you'd like to see a little bit more of, and I will gladly create more for you. Thank you so much and have a beautiful, beautiful day.